everybody, welcome back to this old trike. Today we're gonna take some freshly powder coated rims and put them on these Ohtsu Wamulass knobby tires. Let me show you what I'm looking at. So these are 22-inch Wamulass. What are they? SP Wamulass tires, 22/11/8. These were factory on, and I hesitated there because these came off of that ATC110 that's been sitting on jack stands for a couple months now, waiting for this day. It's got a plastic tank on it, and I've got a metal tank over here gonna go on it. And it'll be a nice looking machine when we're all said and done. The rims were the worst part of it. They were pretty nasty looking, so got this from my buddy, local guy, as part of a little bit of a deal, and I'm just giving it a little fresh up to put it back in the collection. But just got these powder coated rims back from my powder guy Mike with this 84 200E frame from Finland. So that's going to be coming up, but we're going to get these tires prepped today to receive the rims, and so we can get that back into roller status. But they're just kind of yucky, so I'm going to hit them with some simple green nylon brush and just try to clean them up. Cut these old tubes out. I've got fresh tubes sitting right there. I hate tubing tires, but I'm doing this because sometimes with split rims, they can be very frustrating. I don't have fresh gaskets for the middle. I didn't even bother buying them. I'm going to clean up what came off them and put them all back together with tubes. A little bit of a compromise that I'm going to willingly make right now just for my sanity down the road. So that's all I have for you now. Stay tuned. I'll get cleaning and I'll show you what I come up with. All right, 1/2 of one tire is cleaned up. I cut the tube out. She sits over there. But this looks nice. I'm pleased. But you can see what I'm looking at here. So definitely feeling good about tubing these. You know, they were tubed probably for a reason. I don't know, but cleaned up this. And when I put these on, I will make sure to lube up the inner wall of these rims so they slide. You know, look at, see that pitting? That's all indicators that that might not seal up good. Look at the pitting where that's supposed to seal with that gasket. Probably not gonna seal up right. So now I'm gonna do the same thing over again and try to make this side look the same way. Here we go. So yesterday morning, I spent an hour cleaning this tire. 30 minutes per side. Dragging my finger through each little groove around the nubs with a t-shirt and some simple green and soapy water. And now that it's dried out, it doesn't look as good. You can see there is some dry rot in this tire. And again, I'm saving this because it's original. You know, you don't see a lot of these anymore. So at this point, I'm going to lay on some 303 and massage it in. You can see around the letters, the dirt is still there. So I've got a little toothbrush that I'm going to massage some 303 into that and see what it looks like after that. Just kind of hydrating will make it look a lot better. But let me get some time lapse set up and you can watch me do that. She's not perfect, but she's looking really good. And I know as that 303 kind of dries, it will allow some of that lingering dirt, or if you're looking like these areas. It's not worth getting every morsel of muck out of there. They're not perfect tires, but that is how I'm going to leave this one, and then I'm going to repeat onto the next ones. Hopefully I can do it quicker, because I think I'm about 90 minutes or so into this guy, which is probably too long, but whatever. Here we go. So it turns out the holder I'm using for my GoPro covers the mic. So I'm going to voice over this to tell you what I'm saying. I've already started to explain that I've put grease around the bead to let the tire ride up the rim to fully seat. I didn't bother putting a gasket in there because I'm using a tube, so I don't really need it. And I'm using the tubes that have the rubber looking valve stem, not the kind that are threaded, which in a high-speed tire, you know, if it's not threaded and gripping the rim, you can spin it off. But this 110, you don't really have to worry about spinning the tires too much, and especially this particular tire is going to be the front rim, so it won't be spinning on its own anyway. I've laid it down to start putting air in, and my concern now is to not put air in too fast, because there will be air between the tube and the tire that needs to escape while I am inflating the tube. and there's dry rot that I was pointing to that I don't want to stress out and crack the tire while I'm inflating it. So I inflate a little bit, and then I listen, let the air escape, add more air will escape, but eventually you will start to feel the tire enlarge itself. So it was right around this point that I could feel the tire start to grow and slide up the rim. I'm getting a little bit different angle on it. The reason I had it laid down was to grab the valve stem while I did the initial inflation, because there's nothing to push back against the valve stem. But there's some tire groans going on at this point, and I'm watching the rubber move out towards the bead, but I don't want to overinflate. So I'm about at my comfort level for the amount of air that's in the tire, and I'm going to try to simulate bouncing around on the machine, driving this to set the bead. So I'm throwing it at the floor, letting it bounce back up and grab it, and hopefully it doesn't shoot off to the side. Tremendous form, if I do say so myself, but this is working quite well. One side, I think it would be the side away from the camera, seated all the way. But now I'm wanting to get the outside seated a little bit better, so I add a little bit of air. And it's a shame that the audio wasn't good, because as I bounced this, there was a definite click when I throw it right about there. See, I almost lost it. It was so good. There it is, and I think I got it. And that concludes this little exercise of mounting this rim. And I think we're ready to start putting this on the machine. I did think I had a little too much air pressure in the tire, so I wanted to let a bit out before we moved on. Because these tires, they don't have cords in them. They can stretch. They can get too big and rub the back side of your fenders if you don't watch it. So that's what I'm doing here, is just letting some air out, and now we're going to get them mounted. All right, so now we're going to get this 81-110. We know it's 81. Don't just take my word for it, but that's an 81 tank for sure, because 81 has the white, 82 has the blue, as you know. Or we could check this VIN. What's that, a C? I always kind of start with 86 is G, because a G and a 6 kind of look the same. So you go back, 85 is F, 84 is E, 83 would be D, 82 would be C. Huh? Are we for real? BC. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Well, this is different. What's the book say? Let's confirm this is an 81, because if it's not, then that's a problem. Where's my book? Where's my book at? Right here. BC 2000 and up. 82 is CC. All right, so good. That was a BC. Good. It's a close one. So it's a little bit different than the one I'm used to seeing. BC 2479. Anyway, this thing's gonna come off. Gotta take the fuel lines off it. We're gonna put this one on and get some wheels on this thing. We just mounted the wheels over here onto the freshly powder coated rims, and we'll be going forward from there. So let's get to work. All right, so the tires have been mounted, and I like how the rims look with the tires. Everything's shined up super duper nice, and I am super pleased. I was about to put the tank on that I got with this machine, and everything's good with that, and I'm probably not going to be able to show you in here. You can see right there, though, there is some rust. And I don't know that it's heavy rust. That's not bad. I've seen worse. But I've used vinegar in these. I've used muriatic acid, which you have to watch because that acts very fast. And they are very aggressive at cleaning tanks. But I've never used Evaporust in a tank. And I've had these 2 gallons. I got one there, one there. I've had these 2 gallons of Evaporust for a long time, and I've been waiting for the right tank to use it. And this is the first one that's kind of presented itself as one that I need to work on. So what happens when you use vinegar or muriatic acid is the original lining that the steel is, it's not lining, but the coating of the steel when it comes from the factory that protects it from rusting. When you put that muriatic acid or Evaporust in that, not Evaporust, the vinegar in there, it strips that treatment off. And Evaporust tends to be, from what I've heard and seen, tends to be a little more gentle, but does in fact get the rust. So I don't know how it's gonna behave, but we're gonna find out. So I'm gonna pour that in there, and you can watch me. Oh, I've looped up a length of fuel line to plug the bottom. I don't know how long this is going to take. If it's going to be a all weekend thing or if it takes a week. I might just start with this 1 gallon to see how far that gets me. I don't know if you've seen Bigfoot Bikes and Brews made a really cool apparatus to rotate a tank while you've got product in there. This tank isn't as bad as the one he was showing on his channel, but that was a pretty cool setup that he did. I don't think this one's bad enough to warrant that. I do think I'm going to top off with that tank or that extra jug. That'll bring the level up to full. And then we'll just wait and see. So it is full. I didn't spill much at all. So I am pleased. That is just some that ran down the side. The tank was solid, so I'm not concerned about it eating a hole through any thin spots. But I don't know. We'll check back in a couple days. We'll give it and see what it looks like then. But then I can get this wheeled back into the other room, and then I gain this space for working on my next project, which is the 84-200E down here on the floor. And then we can be done for a little bit and maybe get moved on to this guy. In today's episode of Ain't Nothing Easy, we've got a seat pan for an 81-110. That is not the seat pan that came on this machine. This is the seat pan that came on that machine, just a little bit further gone. But I would argue not necessarily unsavable. But what this one would need is to be de-rustified with a brush, Kind of like what I just did on that one over there. But this one might need to be reinforced. Like I just holding that, I was bending that. And these don't staple in. They've got these little metal tabs, which you'll see are non-existent. So likely what happened was when the seat cover failed and water was able to penetrate into the foam, it did that to that pan. Actually, no, I'm getting goofed up. That pan came with the bad foam and a bad seat cover. That pan came with this foam, which is good, except for, I don't know what's going on right there, and a decent cover. So what I'm doing is I'm swapping the pan to the better foam, and I'm going to try to put the seat cover back on, and I hope I don't regret it. That pan, to save that, you'd probably have to reinforce it with some fiberglass or something. Sometimes you'll see guys screw through the pan with sheet metal screws, but I don't want to do that. But what I'm going to do right now, I just brush this down with that steel brush, hit it with some brake clean to kind of get the dust off it and stuff. There's still stuff on it. What I'm going to do, though, is just primer it heavy, hit it with some fresh black just to kind of re-encapsulate it before I put the seat foam back on. Hit it from the underside, too. And try to make it, get another stretch of time out of it. But we'll catch you in a minute. So we've got 2 heavy coats of black over a heavy coat of primer to kind of encapsulate that rust. I'm not trying to get rid of it because probably half the pan would be missing if I did. A lot better than that pan, but still, you can see it is compromised, but I think it's going to work. It's going to be okay. So we've got, this is the cover we're going to use. Nice OEM cover. It's already been mounted, so we're just going to try to align where the tabs have been. I'm going to mate up this seat foam to this pan. Okay, I don't know if I'm in the shot or not. Doesn't really matter. So on the back of this foam, the old pan, you know, was rusty, so there's rust stuck to it. I tried to get a lot of that off, but you're removing material while you do it, so I'm not going to try to do much more. You know what I'm just noticing? So mine's an 81. Mine is an 81. And I'm just noticing the seat pans are different. Notice here, it's just like the other side. It's kind of like a mirror. Notice here it's raised. This is like 81 250R versus 82 250R. The airbox comes up through the fenders. It breathes through the fenders. So I need to look at the fenders. That seat pan will likely not fit on 81 fenders. These are 81 fenders. It's got a port. Okay, I know these are 81 because of the decals. Those look to be original. Has a port. 82 which I think this is. Can't quite tell based on what's left. So correction, once I went to Bruce Allman's website and looked at the 82 decals, I can tell it's not 82 and it's not 1980. Look at 1979. That is the decal that we're talking about. What else would it be? It's not going to be 79 because 79 would have a port. It's got to be 82. And this must be 81 because it has a port. So that port... Oh gosh, I'm sure nobody cares about this. I don't have the brackets mounted. But if we just lay this down, that port mounts up here. And if I put the seat pan, the 82, I'm assuming, seat pan on that, it's not going to have much room to breathe. And it's probably not going to run right? Because it's going to be trying to suck air. And this pan is going to be right down on it. There's the port. Well, how about that? I didn't know that till I peeled the seat foams off the pans. So it's going to be choking the motor the whole time. And this, the saving grace, I guess, maybe, is the foam is the 81 foam. So the foam's got the divot, and the 82 foam does not. So 82 foam definitely isn't going to fit on 81 pan, unless you cut some foam away. Well, isn't this interesting? Do I try to remove? How's it breathe even? It's just sucking air from under, between the seat, between the pan and the fenders. Well, wasn't expecting to discover that. I'm going to put the video down and let you know what I decide on, and we'll go from there. Well, I'm tired of wrestling this thing right now. And it's probably good I should just walk away. I got to get this stretch on and then work the rest of the tabs. But it's looking good, and I'm pleased. The only puncture was right here, and I put a piece of Gorilla Tape underneath that. I faced one piece up, so it's not going to attract anything, but just a little patch of that, and then there's a piece of tape right here. But that can get mounted on those fenders. We'll see how poorly it breathes once it's on and running. And then this is actually looking really good. Pretty hard to see down there. I think I got a flashlight right here. So I'm pleased with this. This is like one day. I think I'll leave it a few more for good measure. And then we'll make this thing pretty enough to stick on a trike shelf. Well, it's a new day. I took a breather. I've got it all anchored. Some of the tabs were a little compromised, and I don't want to mess with it anymore. This was going on before I started. So, without wrestling it more, that's about as good as it's going to look. And I think that's good. We'll hit it with some 303 once I get it mounted on the fenders, but that's the next order of business. Get that mounted. Another period of time has gone by with the tank. And I think it's looking really good. I think I'm going to drain this, flush it with something, some degreaser or something, and put that on and call this little 110 done. But catch me in a minute and we'll see what she looks like. So the kids were just out here for a minute. They helped me, well, Palin washed that. They're going to do some sledding. So while she was washing that, I was trying not to lose Evaporust, but drain my tank. And I tell you what, I'm pretty pleased with the results. I know it's a little blurry, but you can see it's pretty clean. And my hope is that it didn't strip the natural plating, lining, treatment of that steel, so that I'm not, oh, that's good right there, look at that. I'm just going to put gas in it and hope for the best. Muriatic acid for 30 minutes or vinegar for a week is definitely going to strip that layer and make it more prone to rusting, because now any protection it had against it is gone. This is my little experiment before I do this on a tank that's maybe more valuable. Will this work? So that being said, seats over there, fenders are there. We're going to mate those together. I'm going to put the tank on. We're going to have this back together in about, I don't know, 20-30 minutes. Just like that, we are all back together looking really good. I really like how this turned out. This is a nice little machine. I'm not done with it. Well, I'm done for it for now, but there's lots that could be done. I need to track down a brake lever. I'm just realizing there's no rear brake. Okay, well, there's foot brake, but I'm sure I got one of those kicking around. But the seat came out good. OEM seat on a 81 seat cover on 81 foam on an 82 seat pan. It does fit on 81 fenders. And I did have it just running right now. You know what? Not with the fenders on it. Let's see. Does it run with the fenders on? So airflow would be a little restricted. So if you're really hogging on it, climbing a mountain, would it run or would it starve for air? Would you get kind of rich on it? Hard telling, not knowing. My buddy Eric Johnson used to say that. So we put some new decals on the back. Decals from Bruce Allman at Blue Line Decals. Get all your decal needs filled by Bruce at Blue Line Decals. What is that noise? What is that? I don't know. There it is again. Look at this trailer hitch. I don't know what the noise is, but don't want to hear it. The trailer hitch, custom trailer hitch. I believe the guy got this from Dan. I think he said his ex-wife's grandfather or father or something or other made that. So that was a cool thing. But very pleased. I don't know if I have any pictures of this thing when I brought it home. Maybe I do. But I was just thinking about it. It had a leather seat on it that I think Dan and my buddy Aaron put on back when they were in high school. It had that plastic tank on it that I'm going to get rid of. If you want it, let me know. This tank was with it, but it had some rust in it that I cleaned it out with the Evaporust. And I just tried to make it look like it oughta. And I'm pleased. And the place that's supposed to go in my wall of Hondas is now pretty well blocked in, so I'm not going to worry about getting it in there just now, but if I do shuffle the deck out there, it will go in there. But I like the powder-coated rims. My buddy Mike at Capital Region Customs did those. He does all my powder coating. Looks really good. That being said, thanks for watching. Try to get her in the background here. This was just a couple day little project, you know, except for the powder coated rims. Those took a while. Each tire took about an hour and a half to clean up using a brush and some Simple Green, some 303 Aerospace, which I don't have, it's down over there, but that got them looking nice. The seat pan and seat came together between yesterday and today. The tank spent 2 days with Evaporust in it, and I tubed the tires. It was just a little bitty facelift for the ATC110. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you. This might be the last video for this year, except for a year-end wrap-up. But the next thing I got to do is this 84-200E from Finland is the machine that finishes off the collection. So stay tuned for that. That'll probably be the first video of pardon me, when my GoPro takes a burst shot, apparently. That'll be the first video of 2023. I think I said the word video. Video? Anyway, you don't want to miss that. And then we'll do some cool videos going forward. And that's it for me. Have a fantastic end of the year, and we will see you next time.